Hey, baby.
Distractions.
God, she wants it.
Oh, no. What? Are you kidding?
We've talked a lot about unscripted moments on this channel, but I don't think I've ever taken a good look at them all and really considered the potential detriment they had to the company as a whole. Some unscripted moments really aren't that big of a deal, either at the time or in the long run of the company, but sometimes unscripted moments really leave a bad taste in the live viewer's mouth while also being somewhat harmful to the company, or maybe ones that don't even seem that harmful, but if you read between the lines can be very telling of how WWE runs itself. I'm D Wicket, and these are 10 of the worst unscripted WWE moments to ever happen. Number 10, Gronkowski isn't let in. Okay, this is by far the weakest entry on this list, but I wanted to include at least one thing on this list that went hand in hand with that last line I said before the little title drop, and find something that lets us read in between the lines a little bit. So at WrestleMania 33, the plan was for Gronk, good friend of Mojo Rawley, to interfere on his behalf. And it wasn't some small cameo, he played a key role in the finale of a goddamn WrestleMania match, and despite that, the event security weren't notified or like fully aware of what was happening, seeing as one of the female guards tries to take Gronk down the second he starts hopping the barricade.
No, Gronk, think twice about this, and here's security trying to get Gronk back into the crowd. Smart move.
It doesn't happen often, so this isn't the biggest deal, but what if miscommunications like this happen again and something actually bad happens? Think back throughout some of the tragedies that happen within pro wrestling. What if those were down to miscommunication too, and we just don't know?
And now Gronk! Wait a minute. A paying fan cannot just walk into the ring. I don't care if it is Gronkowski.
Number 9, The Undertaker gets lit. Hell yeah, bro. Except by lit, I mean the on fire kind of lit that doesn't usually bode too well at parties. Back at the 2010 Elimination Chamber, Taker began his entrance to the match where he'd defend his World Heavyweight Championship, but despite the Chamber's intimidating presence, it wasn't even close to the deadliest thing he faced that night, seeing as someone in production fucked up big time and accidentally let off a fireball, fucking fireball, directly into The Undertaker. Yeah, believe it or not, that production member is not employed by the WWE anymore, and also, you will never see The Undertaker run like this. Number 8, Daniel Bryan chokes out Jay Roberts. Remember that time the Nexus were sent out there to cause mayhem and Daniel Bryan followed every instruction he was given so hard that he was fired? Yeah, despite being told to go out there and bring destruction, no one in the creative gave any warnings about what not to do. For example, using Justin Roberts' tie against him to choke him out. Well, that's exactly what Bryan tried out, and just as mentioned, the American Dragon was released from the company for it. Telling a wrestler to do something and then firing him for following those rules. That's just stupid.
Being in the arenas and people would I'd get in the ring and they'd boo me and they would chant for Daniel and you got him fired and people would...
Number 7, injuries and tragedies.
Tombstone piledriver, shades of the Undertaker. Austin dropped right on his head. And how much more punishment?
Now, normally on lists involving unscripted moments, I'm going to leave injuries to the wayside because obviously they're not scripted. That's just fucking stupid, but that's not the point of those videos usually. This, on the other hand, the worst of, it feels pretty appropriate to address all the countless wrestlers who have suffered through injuries, you know, from broken necks like Austin to career-ending concussions like Hart. Let's pay some respect, you know?
Calgary, Alberta for that one, and he glommed Johnny, and Johnny goes to the referee. Oh! Standing sidekick. It's been Goldberg.
And right along those lines, respect to the tragedies such as Owen Hart, Eddie Guerrero, and any wrestler who had an unfortunate downfall after or during their time in the spotlight.
Wait a minute. What's going on? Eddie.
Number 6, Daniel PUDER. Tough Enough was a show designed around young, up-and-coming talent getting to show their worth and seeing whether or not they could hang with the main roster. So when you throw a grizzled veteran like Kurt Angle into the mix and have him challenge everyone to a shoot fight, things just got pretty interesting.
Who wants to get in the ring? You want to get in the ring?
Well, I guess Kurt's not through.
You want to get in the ring with me? Get your
There's Daniel. Hold up.
Angle, a multi-year veteran by this point, had pretty good reason to believe he was probably the best real athlete in that ring, but little did he know that one of those rookies, a man by the name of Daniel PUDER, actually had MMA experience and way bigger balls than anyone could have possibly expected.
I don't care where he's from. Well, I know the kid's got a background in fighting in cages and UFC and whatnot. He's in with Kurt Angle.
PUDER stood his ground against the Olympic hero and actually managed to not just get him down to the ground, but into a Kimura lock and nearly snapped the legend's arm. Yeah, believe it or not, this did not look very good on the company.
Trying to get a key lock on Angle before he was hanging off in the corner. Shoulders are down, and this one is over.
Number 5, the pipe bomb. This one's debatable because it actually did some good and some bad, hence its placement right in the middle of the road. On one hand, the pipe bomb gave us CM Punk, elevating him to a height he would have never reached and showing the world that smaller guys like him really did have their place in the main event scene. Keep in mind, that legendary 434-day title reign probably wouldn't have existed without this exact moment.
Years I have proved to everybody in the world that I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
On the other hand, the pipe bomb pretty much ushered WWE into its current era of kayfabe, meaning dick. Beforehand, there was always at least like a thread to cling on to, but come on. Just look at their fucking Twitter nowadays. It doesn't exist anymore, man. Kayfabe is dead, and the pipe bomb probably killed it.
Trust me, this isn't sour grapes, but the fact that Dwayne is in the main event of WrestleMania next year and I'm not makes me sick.
Number 4, the curtain call. Right up there with the big boys of the industry in terms of calling kayfabe a We've got the night from 1996 in Madison Square Garden. The final WWF matches for both Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, best friends of respective opponents of that night, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, lead to their final moments of this house show where all 4 men, half heel and half face, join together in the ring in one of the ultimate breakings of kayfabe ever seen. Well, personally, I jumped to the Screwjob or the Pipe Bomb first. MSG happened before both of those, back when kayfabe was actually, like, alive, and pretty much paved the way for all big unscripted moments like it. So it's, like, kind of a pioneer of bullshit when you really think about it. Number 3, the Screwjob. Alright, so yeah, I just mentioned this in the last segment. We all knew it was coming. Like I said with the injuries, this one's kind of obvious. I try not to mention it much in unscripted moment videos anymore since it's just that obvious. But when we get specific and look at the worst unscripted moments, yes. The time Bret Hart was legitimately screwed out of his championship and resorted to punching out Vince McMahon backstage out of pure fury and jumped ship to another company, yeah, no shit. That's making the list.
Wow, you talk about controversy. This crowd is living.
Number 2, the mass transit incident. Alright, folks, I gotta be honest with you. This isn't a WWE moment. That really shouldn't matter, but I remember back in my very first ever watched WWE audio, I included something from TNA and you hounds murdered me. To be fair, I also had a $20 mic and sounded more depressed than I became, so the comment section was well deserved. The mass transit incident took place when ECW owner Paul Heyman allowed a big 17-year-old named Eric pretending to be a wrestler under the aforementioned name actually wrestle in a tag team match that also featured his opponent, New Jack. Oh God, if you don't know New Jack, welcome to hell. And number 1, the Brawl for All.
You okay? Let's go. Well, this may not last much longer.
Oh, there it is. Oh, my God.
And the official stupidest decision ever conceived and somehow greenlit in WWE by fucking far has just gotta be the Brawl for All. How could anything possibly be stupider than something like Katie Vick or McMahon versus God? It's very simple. While those are probably bigger PR nightmares, this was Vince McMahon sending out untrained fighters to actually fight each other for real. There could have very easily been way more injuries or even worse. Plus, imagine the psyche of the wrestlers involved. It was a mix of lower card guys who were basically all told, hey, we know you guys don't really get to do that much around here, but I mean, if you wanted to prove yourself and get some TV time, and there's this tournament and you gotta fight for real. But this is fighting for television appearances. What?
Right. He didn't do me any favors with the right. was unable to protect himself. Bradshaw's a big, tough son of a gun, let me tell you.
Oh, you
6'7".
ain't.
And those are the 10 worst unscripted moments of all time. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. After liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications, ring that bell.